Hey beauties, it's Riri. Today's video is all about Nomad Cosmetics' brand new release, the Pacific Northwest palette. I'll pop in some swatches and we're gonna dive in. Alright, so hopefully you guys get an idea of the color story, the swatches, and all of the things. I absolutely love this palette. I love the packaging. I love the theming. And it actually looks like a beautiful painting. It is absolutely stunning. Like there's actual texture and stuff on here. I love it so, so much. And there's some really beautiful special shades in here. Some shades that are quite unique to my collection as well. And as much as I am obviously generally drawn to the greens, I'm trying not to blind y'all, I'm very sorry. As much as I'm generally drawn to the greens, I always go for greens, even though I want that all over my eyes. But I think for today, I'm gonna go into kind of the more bluey area. As I kind of always mention, they lend themselves to being very beginner friendly. And I like that we have like a little bit more cool tones, a little bit more moody, a little bit more kind of winter-esque. But then we also have some neutrality. We've got a little bit of grunge, if that is more your vibe. This is kindly gifted from Nomad Cosmetics, so thank you in advance to Nomad Cosmetics for gifting. And I do have a non-affiliated code, RIRI10, to save you 10%. I am also trying a new setting on my phone, so if this does not work, I'm very sorry, and can y'all please let me know. But it's the one that's like the face finder, so that's why this is kind of going in and out of focus, so I do apologize. But I feel like it's going to kind of take away from everything in the background and make the face and the eyes and stuff like that the forefront. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to prime, as I always do, with my Alter Ego eyeshadow base. I did pay for this myself. Get a little closer for y'all. I paid for this myself, but I do have an affiliated code with Alter Ego, and I do sometimes receive PR from them. But they sent one of these with a palette a while back, and I loved it so much that I purchased two more. I love it. And I would normally like to go in and do a few looks for you guys today. Full transparency, I am not feeling the best. So we're gonna do what we can today. I hope you guys are well. And if you guys would like to see more looks, I will definitely try to accommodate you guys, even if they are shorts or something like that. I always feel like Nomad Cosmetics knocks it out of the park. These feel the exact same upon swatching and stuff like that. Like I said, there are some really, really stunning kind of unique shades in here as well. And I always say too that they lend themselves to being very beginner friendly. You know, automatically you can go here, you can go here, and you can go here, and you're going to create a cohesive look, and or you can obviously mix and match. So again, I'm going to go into the blues. So I think I'm going to go into Leaping Orcas first, which is the deepest in the row. Pretty much I'm going to go here, here, and here, and then I'll determine which of the shimmers I'm going to do. So I'm going to go into Leaping Orcas first, and I'm going to do a pressing stamping motion. And I like to do this. You can also work from light to dark, whatever is your preference. I like to generally start with no other makeup on, so that if I do get fallout, if I go a little bit, you know, kind of wild or overboard, if I get a little messy, I can clean everything up and it doesn't affect my base. But I like to reach the fullest level of pigment that I possibly can with a shade, more specifically that first shade that I lay down, or the outer corner shade. So for me personally, I find that patting stamping motions it really allows me to reach full pigment. So that is why I choose to start my looks off in this manner. And then from here, I will kind of start flicking this up just to start feathering those edges. And I do feel like I am reaching full pan color, so that makes me happy. I also keep a towel down here. I also have my Ancient, the crayon case, brush cleaner down here. So I do just kind of tap my brushes off in between. I'm going to go into the next shade up, which is Columbia River Gorge. I do also really like the imprints and everything in this palette. I think it is very thoughtful. I think it's absolutely stunning, and it is a perfect fall into winter transitional type palette. I love it. I think it's absolutely stunning. Ooh, I love this shade. Ooh. And I don't do blue a whole lot. It's not generally a color I kind of gravitate to, but these are really pretty. I definitely do want to come back and play with that green section because, oh my goodness. Alright, everything is blending out well, layering well thus far. Again, I'm doing tapping, stamping motions. I'm going to go back in to the deeper shade just to make sure I didn't lose too much of it here. And I like a kind of gradual transition between my shades. If you do not, then that's fine. Obviously do what makes you feel like the best version of yourself. I tapped that off again. I'm very softly, again, gonna feather my edges. That is important to me. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Tapping off again, and I'm using this exact same brush. I'm gonna go to the lighter of the shades over here, the mattes in Towering Sea Stacks, and I'm going to push that onto the brow bone. That way, again, I have a nice soft gradient between those three shades. I would like to know too, do you live in the Pacific Northwest? Where do you live? Don't say exactly where y'all live, okay? But what state do you live in? What is your favorite part of living there? And what do you like to do for fun? I would like to know. I feel like I lost that and it kind of tonally all looks the same now. So let me go back into Columbia River Gorge and just kind of build that back up. That's something else that I really like to do. I like to layer and kind of blend out, and then layer and blend out, layer and blend out. Ooh, very pretty. Ooh. Not mad at it at all, you guys. That looks absolutely stunning. I feel like I should not have taken that all the way up. That was on me. That obviously has nothing to do with the palette. Alright, next I'm going to go in with my Gourmande Girls Glitter Primer. I again paid for this myself, but I do have an affiliated code with her, RIRI10, for 10% off. I'm going to go into Cascadia, which is the lighter one here. And then I'm going to put that on the inner part and the inner corner, and then use both of these kind of consecutively. So I'm going to go in just with my pinky. And this is like a beautiful taupey, very neutral, but then it's got like a little green cast to it, a green hint to it. I think it's absolutely stunning. And I am a fan of just using my fingers. Sometimes I will go in with a like wispy inner corner type brush. I'll pick up a little bit on the brush. It does pick up great. But generally speaking, I like to use my fingers, and I feel like I get the best bang for my buck with shimmer formulas. And whatever I put on my inner corner, I do like to also flick it up. Again, I like a very cohesive, well blended look. Then I'm going to go ahead now and really pack a punch with that shade. Oh, that is pretty. It's actually, in my opinion, maybe you guys can kind of comment too, I feel like I probably should not have brought it super far in on the inner corner. I honestly thought it was a little lighter than it is, so for me that's a little deep. I am going to take just an empty brush and just take some of that away. And then I'll go into Cannon Beach, which is a beautiful, I call these like aquamarine type shades. Oh, that is beautiful. Oh! I also like the fact that within each kind of color story, if you will, that there are 3 shimmers and 3 mattes. I like that they go kind of light to dark within each color range. And if you guys know, My kind of signature look is literally popping on 3 shimmers, one and then here, just with my finger, and it is a stunning look. And I think that all 3 of these little color stories lend themselves to my type of look. The last one I'm going to use is called Crater Lake, and this is like, I would say like moody blue, but it's got a lot of purple in it, so leaning a little bit more kind of periwinkle. And I also feel like I'm seeing like just a little bit of like a silvery sparkle in here. It's absolutely stunning. And then kind of in between each shade, I'm just kind of tapping over it so that I again have a nice cohesive blend. And then, as I always do, even though I do not have my base on yet, so it doesn't really matter, I generally just kind of feather everything out. I kind of walk my pinky or a finger across, and it just kind of softens that edge for me. I am absolutely thrilled with this. I'm going to go back into this teeny tiny brush and go into Cannon Beach, but I'm going to pick up just a tiny bit. Sorry about that, y'all. I don't know if I like this setting or not. Y'all let me know. I'm going to go into Cannon Beach, but very lightly, and pop that on the brow bone. Ooh, yeah. That is stunning. All right, let me do the other eye off camera. I'll BRB. All right, we have the base and everything done. I'm going to go into a very teeny tiny little brush. This is a Refer 23. And I'm going to go in with Leaping Orcas, going into Columbia River Gorge, going into Towering Sea Stacks for the lower lash line. I'm going to keep the darker shade very close to the actual lash line. Alright, going into the next shade, the Columbia River Gorge, and I'm going to kind of follow that and go directly under. And then doing the same exact thing with Towering Sea Stacks, again coming slightly lower. And then I'm going to curl my lashes and throw on some of the Milani highly rated mascara, and then I'll BRB and I'll wrap things up. And that is it. That is my look using the brand new Nomad Cosmetics Pacific Northwest palette. Again, I absolutely love the packaging. I love the color story, the layout. Everything performed beautifully as I kind of expected it to. I think that that's something that is really special about Nomad Cosmetics as well. Of course, I always mention how beginner friendly I feel like they are, but they are a very consistent brand, which is also incredibly important to me. I love that we have separate little color stories within the palette, and they lend themselves to being very beginner friendly. You can go here, 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 or you can kind of mix and match. I love that it's very kind of moody, very kind of dusky, if you will. I love it. I think it's absolutely stunning. I'm thrilled. I'm happy to have it, and I love this look so, so much. You know, it's not all the time that I do a kind of more bluey leaning look, but this is super, super beautiful. And I love within each of those kind of little color stories or colorways within the palette that even each little individual kind of color story is also inclusive, and you can go from light to dark. And I like the combination of the mattes to the shimmers within the entire palette and within each of those little kind of sections. That is it. Thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you, of course, to Nomad Cosmetics for gifting. Again, I have a non-affiliated code, RERE10, for 10% off. Thank you so much if you choose to use that. What that kind of does is helps me as a creator to stay on their PR list so that I can still be afforded the opportunity to receive PR from, of course, one of my favorite brands. I am on the road to 10,000 subscribers this year, and I can only do that with your help. So if you do see this and you're not yet subscribed and you like what you see, please consider subscribing and give the video a thumbs up. You can hype up the video. That also helps me out as a small creator. You can turn on your post notifications so you never miss an upload of mine, and you can tap the join button down below to become a channel member for some exclusive perks. I love you all. stay happy, healthy, and safe. And of course, be your own best beautiful. Bye, beauties.